one of the biggest messages I push in general is just one of personal responsibility and accountability. We're all influenced by all sorts of things. I'm sure every single week you see negative messaging and things being pushed on you and things you don't like and don't approve of, but you have the inner sense and strength, and perhaps when we're raised well enough to know, okay, just because I see someone doing that thing or saying that thing, I don't need to go out there and mimic it. You're strong
Right.
enough and have that self-empowerment to do that. So you could be bombarded with all sorts of nonsense and you're like, no, like I'm not going to mimic that. But I think that when people are more fractured and are looking for some type of meaning and purpose, and they don't have the influence of you mentioned fatherlessness before, right? A young boy, especially growing up, especially as he goes into his teens, he's going to be looking for older male role models. And the ideal person there is a father, right? A father. If the father is not there for whatever reason, a family member or an uncle, a grandfather, an older brother, someone. But someone's going to fill in that role. Someone's going to fill in that role. And by the way, people who recruit for gangs know this. People who recruit for terrorist organizations know this, right? They find young men who are disaffected and who often lack a father figure, and they find them and they get them to, that's how they get them on board. And so I don't think there's anything more important for the future than honestly how people raise their children or don't, for better or for worse. That's what's going to determine the future of this country. It's what's going to determine the future of the world. And it's been trending in a concerning direction for several decades for many different reasons, which we've all discussed many times. But I'm optimistic in believing that just like things can change for the worse, things can change for the better. And I think that an intervention of sorts is needed. It's not something that one person can do because we're talking hundreds of millions, billions of people. Each person has to take on that responsibility and that accountability for themselves, their families, their children, and so on. And then we can raise a better generation in the future who won't go out and be so reckless and continue this cycle of destruction.